Welcome, everyone, to the Civitai.com stream. I'm your host, Ali, Civitai's Community Engagement Manager, and we are about to do office hours on this fine Wednesday. Please let me know if you can hear me in the chat. Hello. Nice to see you all. Thank you. Thank you. So, this is your chance to bring me your questions and your concerns about Civitai.com, and I will give you all some updates on what we've been doing behind the scenes. Let's just wait a minute or two until everyone trickles in. Hey chat, how's it going? Nice to see you all. While we're waiting, if you don't know what Civitai is, we are a platform for the creation and the sharing of AI-generated art and tools to make that art. We are swiftly becoming the Times Square of generative AI as creators flock to Civitai to share their generative AI artworks. We have a huge community in the multiple millions, a 90,000 strong Discord community, discord.gg/Civitai, full of great content. So if you're watching on Twitch or any of the other socials, I'd encourage you to head over to discord.gg/Civitai, check us out. And conversely, if you're watching via the stream on the homepage at civitai.com, please come to Twitch or any of the other socials and follow us there. It really helps us. When do we stream? If you're watching this on Twitch, you can look at the streaming schedule down below, and you can catch me every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So let's get into it. Oh, it's been a rough couple of weeks, and it has been a couple of weeks since I spoke to you all. It is good to see you. I'm glad to be back. Hope that you are all well and that you've been enjoying the website. I know. Let's get rid of this. Okay, let's start off with the bad news. I'm sure some of you, maybe all of you, saw Tyler's stream last week. If not, I am sorry to have to break it to you, but Tyler has left Civitai to pursue his own career in generative AI, which is awesome and wild. Obviously, it's not awesome that he's left, but that he has these fantastic opportunities, mind-blowing stuff. So he collaborated with Grimes in the past, which was already very cool. And then more recently, he created a video for Will Smith, and his Insta was just blowing up. So he's gone off to pursue opportunities there, and we wish him all the best for sure. We're definitely going to miss the energy that he brought to his streams and to his content. But just wild news, wild. Speaking of staffing adjustments, I am excited to welcome Kale, who many of you know as KF Tiger, to the Civitai team. Big round of applause for that man. He's in the chat right now. He will be taking over Tyler's social media duties for us going forward and taking on some of the streaming slots that have been vacated by Tyler. The details are still to be ironed out there, but yes, please give Kale a huge welcome joining the Civitai team. We're really excited to have him on board. Fantastic. Thanks, chat. All right, I guess you want some site news then. Oh dear. So we did have a rough couple of weeks with the rollout of full checkpoint coverage. I don't think I've spoken to you since that all happened. So to recap, we took a huge step, bold step, to roll out full checkpoint coverage. We went from supporting 200 hand-picked models to opening the floodgates to over 25,000 possible checkpoint versions being available. And I do want to make it clear that we didn't just cross our fingers and hope for the best with this rollout. This was months of planning and upgrades in the making. So we increased our compute, the number of workers, the GPUs that we had available. We upgraded our data center, RAM disks for all of our GPUs to reduce model swapping from Cloudflare. We replaced our old Python workers with code which was at least 25% more efficient. And we did spend months testing it. But it wasn't enough, unfortunately. The workers just couldn't cope with demand. And it wasn't just speed that suffered. We were also running into quality issues, and then the whole stability of the site suffered. So not great. After a week of sleepless nights, trying our best to stabilize things, we decided that the best thing that we could do was just to cut our losses and roll back. The rollback is now complete. We've gone back to the 200 most used checkpoint versions from the week where everything was open. And that in itself is not ideal. We know that, but the situation is temporary. We'll talk about that more in a second. But stability-wise, with 200 checkpoints available in the generator, we're now, I guess you could say, over-provisioned in terms of GPUs. And our gen times, barring the occasional glitch or hiccup, I suppose you could say, in general, the gen times are sub 1 minute, and we're actually generating record-breaking numbers of images. So on no day this week have we generated less than 2.6 million images, and we even hit a 3.1 million image day for the first time, which is truly phenomenal when you think about it. We're looking at, like, before, if you heard me talking on office hours, we had about a 50-60 millisecond interval between images. Now, with the additions that we've made and the improvements that we've made, we've got that down to like 40 milliseconds, even less, between images being created. And that's what's contributing to 3.1 million images in a day. Fantastic. The uptime's been very good, but still work to be done there. We're always trying to improve. One of the other systems that we rolled out alongside full checkpoint coverage was an auction system. It was pretty much featured models 2.0, winning models which won bids for the day. They conferred a discount in the generator. It was a whole thing. That's also gone, rolled back, but we are bringing some of it back with a new purpose. This week, maybe early next week. It's super high priority. We are going to bring the auction system back as a way for you guys to control the 200 checkpoint slots. You'll bid to push checkpoints into one of 200 slots, and the top 200 winners at the end of a week's worth of voting will be placed into the generator for a full week, the following week. It's stripped down, it's simplified, there's no discounts applied, there's no additional charges. The temperature gauge that showed how many people were using a checkpoint, it's still there, but it's purely informational. It doesn't change based on your model being in a top 200 slot, for example. It's just an indication of current usage. Additionally, the top 5 models each week, the models in the top 5 slots, will be featured around the site. You'll be on the home page, that sort of thing, featured model home block. So it's coming back with changes. Stripped down, we'll listen to all the feedback. We know that it had some troubles, and we're hoping to reuse the auction system, but allowing you guys to take control of what is actually on the generator. Hopefully, over time, we can increase the number of slots that are available. We're sticking with 200, well, maybe less on launch. There's still something to iron out here, and I'll talk about that in a second. But 200 slots is obviously what we can manage fairly well. So that's what we're aiming for at launch, is allowing you guys to choose what's going to go into these 200 slots for a full week. Previously, the auction system, it was featuring things for a day, which was just a lot of buzz for such a short amount of time. So this is going to be a full week if you in one of the winning 200 slots. The dream for full checkpoint coverage is still alive, though. We haven't given up on that. And that is what we're striving to achieve still. The goal is to have all resources uploaded to the site available for generation. And we're going to keep working towards that. So, new auction system for checkpoints coming as soon as we possibly can. There are still potential issues, like I mentioned, being ironed out. That's why it's not live right now. The biggest issue is that when we roll over 200 checkpoints, so midnight UTC, we're going to dump the existing 200 from VRAM and load 200 in. And these checkpoints are big. Some of them are massive. And that's going to take time. So we're trying to test that to see what it'll mean for generation each day. If, once a week at midnight UTC, generation's just hosed for an hour. That's not great. Do we take generation down for an hour until we can pre-seed the VRAM with the next week's checkpoints? We're really not sure right now. We have to do a bunch of testing there. All right. Let me look at the chat here real quick. Okay. Not really control, more like letting rich people control the slots. Before we had this auction system, we let, arbitrary creators, the top creators of the day, pick the slots, pick what was in the slots, and they could change it at a whim, whichever they wanted. They had 2 slots each. They could put in 2 of their own checkpoints. That's not a great solution either. We've tried opening this up. We failed, unfortunately, and this is the next best thing, the most democratic thing. Why do we have to use buzz? Why not just let people vote? Have a vote that they could spend, because as we see with reactions, bots just overwhelm. Contests as well. Contests are just overwhelmed by people that bought bot accounts, alt accounts. And by using buzz, that's the most secure way we have. It's very hard to get around our buzz botting bans. So that's the only way that we can make this work. Let's see what else in the chat. Any chance we can get Rex Came on the on-site generator? Absolutely. Yeah, that's something that we've been trying to push out. It's been looked at, but we've only got one LoRa generator dev, and he's pulled in all different directions. So it's definitely on the list. Sure. Don't understand. Are additional base models offered through the auction house, or is it an auction house weekly for the total slots? Yeah. So, question there. Let me just recap slightly there for you. Each week there will be 200 open slots in the auction house, and you will bid on these slots. Bid on a model. You want to get it into slot number 100. 150, 180, whatever, it doesn't really matter, as long as it's there in a slot. Top 200 at the end of the week will be pushed into the generator for the whole following week. That makes sense? Bots are killing so much of the site. It's a huge problem, absolutely, huge problem. And our bot detection systems are weeding out thousands of accounts every single day. Thousands of accounts. Yeah. All right, let's talk about some other site issues that we've been having. So stability, we are still battling our old nemesis, the replication lag. Give me 1 second, I'm getting pinged by the devs here. Insider information. Nope, no insider information. All right. What was I talking about? Replication lag. Yes, so the Civitai service isn't served from one single server. Obviously, we have a number of replicas, and it's imperative that they're all on the same page. So every time you navigate to a new page on the site or perform a particular site action, there's a good chance that you'll hit a different replica. And if the replicas are all out of sync, then that's a problem. So say you've uploaded a model and you're on step 2 of the upload wizard. When you move to step 3, you may also be hitting a new replica, which, due to replication lag, might have zero knowledge that you're in the middle of uploading a model. Then you'll get a 404. Not great. We measure the time between replicas in milliseconds. So ideally, every action that you take on Civitai is replicated to all the other servers in under a second. But due to a number of factors, that is not always the case. Sometimes this lag time climbs into the minutes, 20 minutes even, and then it's a sort of exponential issue from there. The further the replicas get out of sync, the harder it is for them to get back on track, get under control. And if the situation gets too bad, the only recourse that we have is to go into maintenance mode, halt all the traffic, let the servers all catch up with each other before we can turn the site back on. What are we doing about it? I've spoken before about how throwing money at it isn't an option. You've all seen the transparency report. If you haven't, you can find it down here in the newsroom, the bottom of the website here, newsroom. Is the site working? Good Lord. Please don't tell me the site's broken. If we were playing the bingo, then someone would have won. Hey, internal server error. Is it just me or is it everyone else? Fantastic. Topical as well. I was just talking about this. All right, so come down to the newsroom section, have a look at the transparency report. We're working with the resources that we have. We have explored better database servers, more replicas to share the load, but we're at the limits of our plans with the third-party providers that we're using. And if we want to expand this particular service, we have to double our infrastructure costs, which is just it's just not feasible for us. What we can do, and what we have been doing, is tuning database tables. There's a big initiative going on right now to squeeze as much performance out of our database queries. Even shaving milliseconds off those queries is helpful. Plus, we're reviewing table indexing. We're looking through execution plans. Bryant, one of our lead developer, he is cleaning up tables, old tables that have a huge amount of sort of data in them. He is clearing those out, so to try and speed things up a little bit. The less work the database has to do, obviously, the better. And as I've said before, all of our problems are solvable with money. If we had $1,000 per hour database servers running Hadoop and MapReduce, we'd be doing great. But all of that hardware is completely out of our league right now. We don't even have the team to manage it either. We do have a lot of technical knowledge and experience on the team, despite what people say about us in the comments on Reddit. But there are still only 6.2 developers, including the CEO and me. I'm the 0.2. So very difficult situation that we're in. Is the site back up again? Let me have a look. Is it worth refreshing? Is it worth it? Oh, okay. Looks all right. Let's see. Just reading the comments here. I think one of the issues that I'm about to talk about just now is probably contributing. So last night, a job which has been running for 9 months just fine suddenly went wild and buzz blocked about 5,000 users, removing their ability to earn buzz. This job typically blocks about 50 accounts every day for buzz manipulation. And we very quickly realized something was awry when dozens of support tickets appeared. Thankfully, the on-call dev was able to identify the issue, and it was an IP address issue caused by rule updates to our Nginx system, our ingress controllers. Super DevOps complex stuff. They were patching vulnerabilities. It might be related to that. We're not sure. It's very coincidental timing. But anyway, we were able to get all the affected accounts restored within a couple of hours. And if you were affected by that, my apologies. We did check, and your ability to receive generator compensation shouldn't have been affected. The issue occurred after that job had completed. However, the issue with IPs is also kind of rolling over into other areas of the website. It's preventing some people from downloading files, even logging into the platform. It's triggering rate limiters, and it may be triggering other jobs which rely on IPs. It's not ideal, obviously. DevOps guys are working on it. Yeah, so that was also the cause of slowness earlier today. The Nginx issues continued, potentially unrelated to the IP problem. We're not really sure. We were just dropping a crazy number of packets, and which was wreaking havoc across the site. So that was resolved earlier today. Obviously, we've got some other ongoing issues. Never a dull moment at Civitai. We got some questions in the chat here. Is Tyler okay? Tyler is fantastic, but he has left Civitai. He is no longer working with us. He has left to pursue his own career, which was absolutely taking off after his collaboration with Will Smith, which is just wild to think of, wild. And his content is just fantastic. We know that his content is so good. I'm so happy that he has been able to, make something and get out there, be noticed. So that's what's up with Tyler. He is a big shot now, absolutely, and he will be missed. Questions here also for on-site gen. Is there a reason why we only have 3 to 4 resolution options rather than a custom size? Yes, it's very complex actually to introduce custom dimensions, and our guy has been, our front-end dev guy, front-end, what's the word, generator guy, has been looking at it for a few weeks. He is doing his best to get that in, but it's not as simple as you would think, because the last issue that we ran into with that was every ecosystem has different dimensions, and some ecosystems, like Illustrious, for example, have different dimensions between versions, native dimensions, that is. So 0.1 Illustrious still uses standard SDXL native dimensions. 1.0 forward uses the 1536 dimensions natively, but we're hearing that 3.5 is going to be even larger. So there's a lot of kind of nuances with this system. Got to be real careful there. All right. Okay, what else is happening? Let's have a look at the list. Upcoming releases. Private generation is still coming. It's literally ready to go. It has been for weeks. This is the ability to train LoRa's and use them on Civitai without ever publishing them publicly. Some caveats and restrictions, obviously. Firstly, it's going to be members only. You'll need bronze, silver, or gold tiered memberships to be able to use this. Each tier will have limits determining how many private models that you can actually have at one time without deleting them or publishing them. Bronze is 3, silver is 10, and gold is 100, which is wild. Under this system, every training run that you make, you'll be able to test out the epics for 15 days, after which the ability to generate from the epics will be disabled. And then you'll have unrestricted access to every epic for 15 days. I can't show you an example right now. It was on our staging environment, but something else is in the staging environment right now for testing. But I did show it off a couple of weeks ago. So every epic you can use. You can also combine every epic with other site resources or other LoRa's that you've trained, or other epics that you've trained. So super customizable, and you've got 15 days to make a decision on which one you want to keep. And when you do want to keep it, you push it into, well, you can either publish it just like you would normally, or you can make it private. Epics and models in the training tab will still be retained for 30 days. No change there before they're deleted. So you just have to publish or push to private within that time frame, that 30-day time frame. Once you've pushed a model to private, you can use it as much as you want, and I can show you that, I believe. I have got private models. Are they all clean? That's the question. Maybe. I've got a private tab here, if you can see. They're clean. And these models are models that only I can see and only I can generate with. They've got a little lock icon here. And I can generate with these, and I can set it up however I wish it to be set up before I publish it. Of course, there's no requirement to ever publish it. You can just keep it private forever if you really want to. But the thing that's holding this whole thing up is still the safety part of this. We need to have systems in place to ensure that this feature is just not going to be abused and get us all in big trouble. So the initial plan is that private generation will be PG and PG-13 only. If you do manage to make an image which is a bit sexier, there is a good chance that it will be denied by the system. You'll receive a full refund. I can't show you an example of what that looks like right now, but you just get a little message in the generator saying, hey, sorry, too sexy for private gen. And you get your money back and you can try again. And now in future, with better systems, which we're still trying to develop, this will hopefully change. The goal is to allow all kinds of generations privately. Pretty cool. Let's see here. Yeah, so the question here I'm seeing is likes the Epic preview feature, but it's hard-coded 1024 with the base model. Well, that's the beauty of private generation. So now if let me see, do I have a clean one that I could show you? Dirty van art. There's a joke in there somewhere about being clean, but if I click this, nope, that's been deleted. That one doesn't work. Necromancy, does this one work? I need something with epics. Nope, that one doesn't work. These are all old. Fantasy monsters. Doesn't work. I can't show the others. They're probably not clean. But the beauty of being able to test your epics is that you can generate with them just like normal. You can use any base model, any model that's available on the generator for each of your epics. So yeah. Woman, I know. I'm not clicking on that. Nope. I don't even remember what it was, to be honest. All right, so what's next? Video training, Hunyuan, WAN, LTXV, training and generation. So both of these, or all of these, super high priority to get released. And of course, inference with the trained LoRa's will be a thing. And the guys are working on that right now. I can't provide an ETA, but Justin has indicated that that is like top of the priority list, apart from obviously making the site work. So WAN and Hunyuan training very, very soon. The issue with both of those when it comes to generation is the inference time. So they're both pretty beefy models to run, especially with a LoRa. We do have the hardware for it. We've provisioned a bunch of extra hardware to run video gen, but it's not as simple as Lightrix, as LTXV generation. It's going to take a lot more time. How much buzz is the training for this? I don't have any information on that yet. We're not at that stage. We really have to wait and see, how much time it takes for Kun, our backend guy, to work out some pricing there. When Hunyuan and WAN get added for on-site generation, will they be allowed for adult content? Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we were concerned about this. We spoke to Hunyuan directly, and the last I heard from them was that, yeah, they don't mind. We can generate not safe for work with those models. That might change in the future. We do have an agreement with them. We've got a partnership. It's kind of up to them about how they want to play that. But as of right now, yes. And they haven't cared so far about all the millions of Hunyuan blowjob LoRa's that we've got. Some of that stuff's really good. I mean, really good. The fidelity of these porn LoRa's it's just amazing. We're moving super fast, chaps, super fast. So exciting stuff. All right. Don't clip that. Don't clip that. No. Advanced workflows. Okay, let's move on real swiftly. We've just rolled out the first advanced workflow in the generator. So Civitai subscribers can now access a background removal workflow from the magic wand icon to isolate the subject of any generation and export it as a transparent PNG. That took a bit of work to actually get the orchestrator to work with transparent PNGs, but it's there now, and it's huge if you're creating characters or objects or icons, assets for design work, whatever. It's going to give you instant cutouts with practically zero manual editing, no Photoshop required. This is only the first in a number of kind of utility style workflows that we'll be adding over the next few weeks. I mentioned before that we have a magnific style upscaler that's still coming. We have prompt enhancement options. And yeah, I know that you've all been patiently waiting and asking about it. And that is upscaling. No, not upscaling. What am I talking about? In painting. How could I forget? In painting and out painting, we have started work on those. I can't give you an ETA for them, but they are actually in progress now, which is a great step forward. But let me pop open the generator really tentatively, and yeah, we're good. and I can show you that workflow. So anything that you've previously generated, you could run through the background removal. It works for Flux, it works for SDXL, it works for practically anything. So if you've got something that you think would be cool to have the background removed, obviously it doesn't work on videos. It does work better where the subject is very clearly defined. I think you actually get a message if you try and do it. Let's try. Yeah, it says background removal works best with images that have a well-defined subject, preferably on a distinct background with sharp outlines. For the best results, use images where the subject stands out clearly. This feature is especially effective for sticker prompts. So like these, for example, you can see that these are true transparent PNGs. Pretty cool stuff. You do have to be a Civitai subscriber to access the advanced workflows right now. So bronze, silver, gold will get you access to these. In painting, I know, right? Hand fix and in painting. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Top of the list. Out painting is quite exciting as well. I know, obviously, not as exciting as in painting. One of the things that's going to hold back in painting is the safety aspect of it. And I will touch on that at the end of the stream. But yeah, safety is a big concern, not just for us, but for, for the payment processors, obviously. And deep fakes and in painting is a contentious issue, a difficult one. What about a detailer? We've already got a detailer on the site. It's the hand fix that we don't have. Can we image to image Flux yet? Not quite yet. Do you still need a gold membership to make LoRa's on-site generation only? I believe so, yes. Is OpenPose being worked on? It's not yet. If you're not a subscriber and you accidentally click on this button, the background removal, it will redirect you right out of the generator. Absolutely, it will. It'll take you to the pricing page where you can subscribe. And if you click on it enough times and get super annoyed, that you'll probably want to subscribe. It's a feature. It's a feature. Yeah. Yeah, all the control nets are, sadly, they're going to take some time. Yep. That is true, though. Let's pin this one up here. Joey is correct in that the new worker that we have, we replaced our Python workers with a new type of worker in preparation for the full checkpoint coverage, and that new worker is bringing us closer than ever to being able to support control nets. That joke was not funny. The last time you told it to me, Ali. The one about being directed to pay? That wasn't a joke, dude. That's the reality of the situation. Are you saying that it just shouldn't show up at all for people who don't subscribe? Nah. All right, let's see what else we've got in here. We talked about the utility flows that are coming, creator program. Okay, briefly, we'll cover the creator program, the extraction phase. Let me jump over there real quick. Where are we? Here. All right, down here, get paid. So the extraction phase of the creator program is coming up fast, end of the week, 28th. Is that what it says? Yeah, 28th at 8 p.m. Eastern time. This is your chance, if you're participating, obviously, this is your chance to review your estimated earnings and withdraw your buzz should you feel that you're not going to make enough and you maybe want to carry your buzz over into the next month's banking phase. But remember, this phase is when things get really interesting. So people are going to get cold feet. and they're going to decide to withdraw their buzz. And as they do so, the value of everyone else who sticks and stays in, their buzz will increase. So I am intrigued about how this will go down. Got a question in the chat there. Will Civitai make deep dive video guides for this stuff? You talking about generation options specifically? Because we've got, I wouldn't say they're deep dive guides, but we've got the basics anyway on the Civitai Education Hub, education.civitai.com. I'll put it in the chat. And you'll find guides for practically everything to do with generation or LoRa training, or even just creating prompts. There's a lot of good information here. It's updated as often as I can. But back to the getting paid. Yeah, so buzz pool, the value of the remaining buzz in the pool is going to increase as people extract it during the extraction phase, 3 days of extractions. So I'm really excited to see what happens here. My current value is like $50. So we'll see what happens. All right, and when this cycle ends, this monthly cycle, when it ends, we will be sharing stats on the creator page, I believe, of how many participants banked buzz, the highest payout amount, the average payout amount, that sort of thing, and that will continue each month for the previous month's stats. So if you're not in the creator program, perhaps you're eligible, but you haven't banked anything yet, you're seeing how things play out, this will give you an idea on what you could potentially get out. Or maybe you don't quite meet the requirements yet, but you're waiting. You're building up your profile. This will give you a bit of an idea. If you click on the creators page here, it's going to appear down here somewhere. There'll be about stats for the previous month. Civitai, let's see. Chrononite saying to withdraw cash, it says 50 is required for cash out. You're at 48 now. What happens then? Yeah, you just have to carry over for a few months until you've got enough to make a withdrawal. Let me just go back here real quick. So you've got pending settlement, you've got ready to withdraw, and you've got the total amount that you've previously withdrawn. So your pending settlement, that's from the 1st to the 15th. We're going to review what everyone has earned, make sure it's all legit. And after the 15th, that'll flip over into ready to withdraw. I've obviously got $5,000 in here because testing. That needs to be over 50 before you can actually make a withdrawal. Are we making Civitai Bitcoin and what Buzzcoin? Not yet. Not yet. Thanks, Jomsy, for posting the link to the creator program. The description's in there. You can also get it by coming to the education site, and it's in here somewhere. You can search, but it is right here. And that will explain everything you need to know about this whole system, banking system, the extraction system. But in its simplest form, there are nuances to it. You can get really involved, but in its simplest form, you put buzz in and you get money out. All right. So one thing that is exciting about this system is that after the 15th, a bunch of people are going to be ready to withdraw. They're going to have more than $50. As soon as that happens, as soon as you get more than $50 ready to withdraw, you'll be invited to Chipotle's site where you can fill out your tax documents, you can put in your banking details, that sort of thing. You'll get an email, and you'll also, a little button will appear here saying, hey, look, you're ready to cash out now. This is how you do it. Click that button, you can get all set up, and you can make a payout request. That bit is going to be exciting. So I've tested it with the developers, all 3 of us. It's going to be interesting when 200 people are trying to pay out, and I'm the one that has to review them all. and get all the payments out to everyone. So fun times. It's going to work flawlessly, not a single problem, just like everything else on Civitai. Yep. All right. Let's see. Aside from questions, I don't really have that much for you, but one thing I would like to talk about briefly, gird your loins for this one, chaps. So, not fun stuff, not a fun conversation, but I want to bring it up now so that you're not surprised by it in the future. The environment that we're in now, politically, socially, I suppose you could say, is changing. There's a lot of scrutiny into AI right now. A lot of new legislation is appearing, especially for sites which allow not safe for work and especially fetish content. We're practically the last bastion for a lot of this content, and I do want to prepare you for changes in the future. We are doing everything within our power to push back where we can, but it's not really a fight that we're going to win. And eventually, we will have to make some changes if we want to continue operating. I can't go into the details right now, but by the end of the month, early next week, I suspect, you'll see the first set of these changes coming. I do want to assure you that not safe for work content is still safe. That doesn't make sense. Not safe for work content isn't going anywhere, I should say, just to be clear. Now, what I'm alluding to is not about the removal of all not safe for work content. It's not that at all. We'll be in a better position to announce some of the changes and the challenges that we're facing during next week's stream, probably. The reason that I've brought this up is because we have been receiving a lot of feedback and questions. Have you seen this specific piece of legislation? Europe has done X, Y, Z. What does this mean for Civitai? Well, in short, as I explained, it does mean adapting to some of these new frameworks as a requirement for survival. But don't panic just yet. We'll have more details soon. It is not the end of the world here. So that's the news. I've got some questions. I'll take some questions before I head off. I don't really have much more for you today. Take your panic hat off. Don't need that. It's not as bad as you think. In fact, I really can't talk about the biggest changes that are coming right now. Justin would shoot me. Used to be Max I had to be scared of. Now it's Justin. But the change that's coming, a lot of you have foreseen it already. It's not going to be that bad. Don't worry about it. Let's see. Questions. Let's do the Q&A. Hey, look at that. I will try and answer some questions in the chat here. We've got real person Laura's going is my guess. It's not quite. No, that is a contentious issue for sure. Has been for the longest time. That has been something that payment providers are not happy with. But we are doing our absolute best to hang on to those. Yep. Sora on Gen. Can you imagine? Wow. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, I'm afraid. What alcohol am I drinking? Just the usual, the normal Uskabe. Had to change to a different bottle because you guys got wise, so now you can't see it. Yeah, vault reveal, that's not going to happen, unfortunately. Yeah. Why change the whole site for Europe? Why not just push it to only Europe? See, that's really difficult. That's super hard to do, and it's not just about Europe. Payment processors in the US, even the high-risk payment processors that deal with adult sites, they do not like AI-generated content. Very, very difficult to work with some of these people, these organizations. They just there's such a kind of an anti-AI sentiment right now that these guys are terrified of what it can do. Rightly so, I suppose. But yeah, so it's not just about legislation that's coming out of Europe. It's the whole industry. Any plans, WAN or Hunyan LoRa training service? Yes, actually. Yes, if you'd listened earlier on, you can catch the stream. If anyone who has missed the stream, it's going to be up on Twitch, and you'll see the whole thing again if you really want to watch it. But yes, that is absolutely coming soon. That's one of the things that's quite near the top of the priorities list, which is super exciting. Payment processing companies are necessary, obviously. We wouldn't exist without them. But they're beholden to Visa and MasterCard. They call the shots, really. And we have to kind of toe the line if we want to exist. But there are a bunch of I'm not going to get into it too much. We'll probably talk about it in a later stream. But yeah, it's not the end of the world. It's definitely not the end of not safe for work content. It's not the end of Civitai. It's just slightly inconvenient. Just mail us cash. Yeah. Oh, that's funny, actually. It's actually not a bad idea. I'm going to put that forward to Justin. Yeah. Just personal checks. Yeah. Are we ever going to get a better search? We have a lot of good artists that are buried in. Yeah. Yes. That's a difficult one. So the search that we use on the site is called MeliSearch. It is integrated in every facet of the website. We actually use MeliSearch like a database. You're not meant to, but we are leveraging it that way. And that's why if you post an image, it will appear in posts quicker than it appears in images, because we actually index that image into MeliSearch and present it on the images feed. The whole images feed is driven by MeliSearch. The reason that we're doing that is because our Postgres database just cannot keep up with the images feed. So much data in there. MeliSearch can. Posts is still driven directly from the Postgres database. That's why you upload something, it appears almost instantly in posts. You're hitting the database directly. But because of this, because we've got this, such a tight integration with MeliSearch, it makes it super, super difficult to unpick that integration and put a different kind of search in. And the reason that the search sucks is because we've kind of hit the limits of what you can do with MeliSearch, unfortunately. So it's a core piece of software that is not easy to change, unfortunately. Any chance of an on-site prompt enhancer? Yes. I think I mentioned that one as part of the utility flows, like the background removal that we just put in place. This one here. Yeah, those sorts of LLM-based options. Prompt enhancement, prompt lengthening, prompt shortening, prompt cleanup, all that sort of thing is definitely on the cards. Yep. Archive models popping up on search leading to 404s. Absolutely, that's another MeliSearch issue. Postgres got so big that we had to leverage MeliSearch to help us out. Now MeliSearch has got so big that it's making things difficult to index. It makes things difficult to delete. It's just massive. We're running out of space everywhere. And that's why some things which have been deleted or have been unpublished don't disappear from MeliSearch. The jobs that should make them disappear just don't run. They just time out, they fail. So generation with fine-tuned flux models will come, ? Soon. Yes. So with this new controller that we rolled out, to help with the full checkpoint coverage. It has support. The previous workers, the Python workers, did not. This new controller does have support for fine-tuned Flux models. It just hasn't been tested yet. It's ready to go. Guy says, DevOps guy, the orchestrator guy says, yeah, it's ready to go. We just haven't tested it. We haven't got it on the front end yet. So yeah, that is very close as well. Versioning, that's an interesting one. There's going to have to be changes there in the future. The model version system is really screwing us over in many ways. It causes so many problems with the auction system. With the featured model system, models are featured based on the model ID, not the version ID. Same with the auction system, that all had to be redesigned to take account of version IDs. So if you have one model card with multiple versions on it, it's just hugely complex. There are probably going to have to be changes to simplify that in the future. Astroburner, thank you. Appreciate your gold membership. Yeah, for sure. So a lot of the new features that are coming to the generator are going to be gold only, like the background removal, for example. And that's just simply because the pool of gold users is a lot smaller, and we're able to handle their requests a lot quicker and a lot more efficiently. If we open these up to the millions of free users, it would be very, very hard to support. Plus, gives you something to strive towards. Got to have some perks, right? Any other questions? Let me see. Shark Twitch mentions photorealistic images being more scrutinized than, so payment processors don't take that into account. They don't care. They don't care whether it's furry, illustrated, or a realistic model. The content is the same, and we get very little say in their choices. We try, obviously. We try. Kling uses DeepSeek to enhance prompting. Is that right? Okay. Any plans to implement it also? Not DeepSeek in particular, but there'll be some sort of model review to see what does it best. What's actually really good is Florence. Super lightweight, runs very well and comfy. Florence does a real good job of enhancing prompts. So we might look into that. We're actually using Florence already, or we will be for one of our upcoming utility workflows. The upscale enhance workflow is going to have the option to enhance your prompt. Is Florence also good at not safe for work? I don't know, to be honest. I can't really answer that. I'll have to go and test it. All right. Anything else? Anything else we need to mention? I cannot think of anything. Let me just have a quick read up. One thing that people have been asking about is featured images. We removed the button on the bus dashboard where you could get your images or your models featured. There used to be a bunch of blue buttons here. That's gone. If you want to get an image featured, it is down here on the left underneath the featured image home block. This will take you to the same place as before. So that's how you get your images featured. Might be a bit slower than usual. Brittany is super busy. She took over featuring stuff, and she is super busy right now. Upcoming contests, potentially, yes. Don't know if I can announce it. We might not be ready for it, but there was some suggestion that when we get WAN training on site, that we would have a WAN training contest. But that depends on the technical side, the technical aspect of things, whether we can get that out the door. There's a lot to do to get to that point. But I think that's the only contest I've heard about recently. All right. Anything else? Nope. Good stuff. That's it from me today then. I will see you again next Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. In the meantime, if you have any questions or concerns, please reach out to me on site. My on-site DMs are always open. You can shoot messages directly to support at Civitai as well. You can create a ticket from the button in the bottom right-hand corner of the site. Where is it? Down here. This little button here gives you access to the ticket portal and to CivBot. You can ask him your questions. He might respond intelligently. Who knows? If he tells you to delete your account, don't do that. But he hasn't done that for a long time, so we're good. Yes, so support at civitai.com. You can create a ticket. Obviously, I just showed you that there. Or you can just email support@civitai.com. You can also join the Discord. That's probably one of the best, the quickest ways to get help. Not guaranteed, but you can join the Discord. Let me put the link in here. Great place to come if you're looking for help. If you have an issue that you think is super serious, then I would still submit a ticket to support@civitai.com. But if you've just got a quick question that you want a quick answer to, then jump into the Civitai help channel in Discord for sure. All right. That is all. It has been a pleasure talking to you, and I will catch you all next week. Quite a short one, but next week, I'm sure if we get the changes out that we're hoping to make, then it's going to be a long one. Don't worry, though. It's going to be fine. Don't panic. Don't panic. All right. Next week, Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, and I will see you then. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.